Welcome back to our weekly SNG show, which we haven't had for a while because it's been the holidays. And Mary and I really hope that you had as good a holiday as we did, because we had a great one. Didn't we, Mary?
Absolutely.
Mary says yes, in case she's out of mic range. So you're going to see a lot of footage that I shot before the holidays that we couldn't cut into a video because of the holidays and all the other obligations that go along with it. We have a lot to show you on the Martian. I discovered after 2 weeks all this footage I shot of making the eye mechanism. It's really, really cool. And additionally, we have new stuff too, working on the TWA Moonliner. And for those of you who don't know what that is, what's this old rocket? It was a 76-foot rocket that used to be at Tomorrowland. I saw it in 1959, and it really kind of launched me into my fascination and love of space travel and rocket ships. And you'll see us working on that. It's coming along really well. Thanks again, Mike Dawkins, for the wonderful Christmas present. We're also going to be working on the TOS 66-inch large Enterprise that we have here in the showroom for museumofsciencefiction.org, which is the science fiction museum in Washington, D.C. That will be launched soon, and it's going to be featuring our big Enterprise. And we're going to be doing some really interesting stuff with that. Jeff Helps just informed me that he wants to print and make the parts so that the bay doors can open up and reveal. They can do this. So that's going to be really cool. Thank you, Jeff, for volunteering that. And of course, Ken Palco is working on designing the internal armature, and I've started doing work on the hull. So that's what you're going to be seeing this week, and probably some other stuff. So let's get on with the show.
I need to make some eyeballs, and they need to be the same shape as the wooden balls. Now, I could make a silicone mold and pour them out of resin, but then I got the bright idea, staying within the shoestring budget, since I'd have to go out and get some clear epoxy or some kind of clear resin. I thought, why not? Because these balls have been made on a lathe. You can see the hole there. And I put that on the drill press there, and I drilled out a hole, and I cut myself a threaded screw that fits in there, and I put it on the lathe. And it turns pretty smooth and pretty round, but we're going to make it rounder. And not only that, we're going to make it slightly smaller, because I'm going to vacuum form over this and get our eyeballs that way. In other words, I'm going to clear vacuum form, and using the clear vacuum form, I can then make in Photoshop a nice iris, print it out, and put it on the inside of the eyeball and paint it from the inside. And then I can fill it with resin and put the shafts in the back. Yeah, let's see. In theory, let's see how it works. Now, the thing I'm noticing already, just from doing this a little bit, is that the ball wasn't very true, and it's getting true really fast doing this. So we're going to check it in the socket here in a second and see if it's sloppy. If it is, then I know by the time I vacuum form, it will fit in there pretty good. And here's how I've been doing it. I'll try to do this with one hand and not kill myself. Basically like that, and I did it to both balls. And I use the calipers here, and then I match to see that they're both at the midpoint the same thickness, which they clearly are not yet. I thought I had this, but it's right there, almost there. This is why a wood lathe like this Fox wood lathe is a really good lathe. You get what you pay for in this case, and this actually was very reasonable. That seems to be like a perfect fit now. Okay, so this worked really beautiful. Let me set this camera down here, and I'll put the eyeball in front of the camera, and you can see just this fits in there just perfectly. It's a little loose, but you know, there's not going to be anything pushing it forward, so it really glides and moves very well. So back to the lathe, we need to get a flat spot for the iris. So I'm just kind of doing it this way. Since these mount so beautifully and been drilled so precisely on the drill press, this is a natural to do it this way. And you can see I'm just about to the size I want to be. And then I'll mic it and we'll do the other one. A little Tamiya matte white, because really it looks glossy right now, but I just put it on so it's not completely white. It's kind of transparent, this matte white. It is a matte white, but it now these really are starting to look like eyeballs, and you can see the flat spots clearly. So what I'm going to do now is go on the internet, find some really cool looking irises, and mount them to this, and then I might even draw some little veins in and stuff, and then we're going to pop these into here, and we'll have this beautiful eyeball. So there's some irises, and just made them up in Photoshop and stuck them on some canopy glue on the flat spots, put a little bit of red on there, which I want to tone down a bit, but to give it sort of the vein effect, or maybe I won't, because really not that much of it's going to show. So let's pop these inside the clear and see what they look like. And there you go. And we just did that in under 3 hours, from no eyeballs at all to this. And of course now they'll fit in the mechanism, and I can show you how that works. Really pleased. Okay, so here's our basic mechanism. What I did is I just hooked up a brass bar here to the 2 posts in the back, like so, which is really all I need. And of course there'll be a servo with a slider going this way, so that it can go right and left. At the same time, it'll be able to pull up and down. There'll be a slider on that too, so that they can flex. But I don't need a lot of movement. And you can see how easily this travels, and I can go up and down as well. So I don't have a controller in there right now, but you can see the eyes are moving, and they're moving just fine. So I'm really pleased with that, and there's plenty of room in here. So we continue on with our Martian. And what I've been doing here is hinging stuff, cutting stuff away. There'll be cables hooked to this, so he can do things like, "I kill you," and frown and stuff. This will, when these are being moved by cables hooked from here to there, I'm going to use piano wire, so I'll be able to push them down as well as lift them up. What that'll do is create expression in his eyebrows. It also gives some clearance for the eyelids to slide up underneath there, which may end up being vacuform. Of course, there'll be a cable on this to move the mouth, and then, as you know, these work really well. Look right and left. It's hard for me to figure in there, but you get the idea. Let's see. I could actually look all around if I want, or I could pop the eyeballs out, which are really cool. Anyway, you get the idea. These move really good. It's just I cannot get my finger in here, and so until the cables goes in, this is about as much as I'm going to be able to get it to move. But we don't need a whole lot. We just need them to be able to move. So that looks really nice. Well, I can kind of get to them from here. No, I can't. Back up, back over. Back over that way. Okay. So the skin's fitting pretty good now. This has to be pressed down a bit more. I got some eyelids to trim a bit, but it's really, I think it's looking pretty cool. I can get up there and see if I can't do something to make those eyelids move, eyes move. I think I can do. They move? Oh yeah, they move. Okay, now we want to bring them back. Yep, they're moving great. They really are. So that's really good. I can move them side to side too, but I was just using this bar. So that's pretty neat. We can get some nice expressions that way. And we know our brows are going to move. So when I get that hooked up. So there's lots of little tweaking to do still and things to figure out. But I think, like I said, I'm going to vacuum these. And that's really going to pay off really well once I do, because those will move much easier. Maybe not, I don't know, or make vacuum a skin for them to sit on. But I gotta next figure out, which is pretty simple, there's gonna be a little thing in here which will move the lips, like so. So you can do a little bit of expressing talking. And there's going to be some teeth on him too, so I have to address that here probably tomorrow. So I have been tooling away on this, and it has improved a great deal. This is the damaged side. This is their original side. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, except that this area in here isn't as flat. It doesn't need to be anyway, since we're going to cut it out for the windows. So I would say, let's go vacuum form this. And there we go. The second one came out much better than the first one, but I do have two. This one, the plastic wasn't quite hot enough, so I didn't capture quite the edge detail. As you can see here, this really came out good. You just gotta love this vacuum form. This is just the best vacuum form. Kobe, if you're watching, thank you so much. So here we go. Look at that. It's really a nice fit. It looks really good all the way around. We got a nice canopy frame, outer frame. And of course, there's the old one, which was damaged. Of course, I removed it completely from here. I've also marked this open so I can start doing a cut this open so I can start doing a cockpit of some sort for it. Not that you'll be able to see it that well looking inside these windows, but you will. And I'm going to have some fiber optics in there and light up the dashboard as always. What I've done here, of course, is cut an opening for our cockpit. And boy, is that thing evenly round inside. They must have had a core and even thickness. Now here's the cockpit I made very quickly out of styrene, and it fits just like a glove. I just did one little seat here just so I could get a feel for if it's worth it or not to go inside and do anything more, what's going to be seen. And I put a little dashboard there. So then I put this on top here, and sure enough, as I thought you might be able to do, you can see the seat and Mary and the dashboard. So if that's lit up with fiber optics and some lights in there and stuff, you're definitely going to be able to see that. This has to be cut shorter. But my main concern right now is how to get power into this. And what I've done is take some of this magnetic wire and spooled some of it up, and it's going to come out here, and it's going to go down there and come out there, and I'm going to slot this all the way down and all the way through into here and all the way into this, and then into the brass legs, and then hollow the brass leg out a bit and have it come out the foot. Not an easy task because it wasn't really set up for that. I also want to put some engine lights in it in case I want to make this glow, have the engines glow. I think somewhere in here I have some engine lights, which I'm going to find right now. Aha! I found them. And I bought this so long ago and said, you know what, this is going to be great for the engine for something one day. And I'll show you what it does. Now, here's my hope. Somehow I'm going to put a potentiometer on this engine and be able to ramp it up like so. Because it's good for 12 volts. And that's pretty darn bright. It will make a great engine. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so I got that engine light in there. We're going to light these rockets up here. Whoa, that's so cool. Oh, that's cool. That's going to work. I like that. So I've got the power supply hooked up. So I know that we've got our engine power. I'm on 11.9 volts, but it's pretty bright. You know, you're seeing we need to do some light blocking, which is not going to be hard because I'm going to put a lot of paint on the outside of this. Up here, of course, the canopy is glowing green because it is not light blocked, but that's because we've got up in here our little radar screen, which I need to dim down. Now on the camera it looks so bright. It is not that bright. But I will turn on some lights here, and you'll be able to see that it's really not that bright. It's brightish. So it's glowing like a radar screen green. Now I'm going to put in a whole bunch of fiber optics and other little lights and switches, and of course the little tiny itsy bitsy seedy weedy wheat seats that I'm making. which are going to go in oh, hey, there they are. Hey, and those are going to go in there, and that's going to be really cool. And I'm going to have fiber optics lit up down here, and some more stuff on the dashboard. I'm going to dim this down some more, but the most important thing that I got done today is we got power in this. So this is what I've been doing, and you've seen the pictures I've been doing, and you can see we have a cockpit in there. And of course, as usual, the camera loves to overexpose things and make them look brighter than they actually are. But there's all kinds of buttons and switches in there and things you can see. I have the glass in. Of course, if I want, I can just take that off and show you that way, but it's so overexposed. The seats are in, and I just got some gaps to fill and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I got it sitting down there, and it's really neat. So there's red lights, blue lights, yellow lights. The green is coming from the radar, which I need to dim down. Now, Daphne said, gee, are you going to light up the porthole? So you know what? I decided to. Now you can see I've got to do a lot of light blocking, and since I can't get to the inside because it's already sealed, I'm going to have to do a lot of heavy primer on the outside, which will block it. Now I thought about doing the panel lines, but I'm not sure I'm going to. I've also started these down here, and I see I got one that's gone dim on me for some reason, and these of course will fit over here like so. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna get those screens in there, and oh, there it goes. It was just one of those things. So these go in here, which is hard to do with one hand. Me and my one hand thing, but they go in like that, and they're just like the original Disney screens. And this model originally was built by my friend and yours, Captain Cardboard, Scott Alexander. Scott, you always pick out the best subject matters to do. These are temporarily in right now. I got to glue these in once they're painted white, but I've got the struts in, which work out really well, especially if you follow Scott's instructions, because these kind of pop and slide in and out. It's really cool. All the portholes are opened over here. Of course, we have our lights coming up underneath the ship, and what's really cool is how beautifully the ship gets lit up, just like it did at Disneyland all those years ago, before the dummies removed this and made it the place it is today. For $200 a ticket. Well, this week's video is a real mixed bag, but that's always fun. I've been working more on this, and what I've done is completely taken the legs off and disconnected all the lighting and everything, and I'm concentrating on smoothing the actual that's the cockpit there taped up. Smoothing the hull down, because what I'm going to do is take chart tape, which I'll show you in a little bit, and I'm going to put the chart tape on and create the effect of the panel lines where they welded the different plates of sheet metal onto the frame, just like they would do with a real rocket or aircraft. That's how this was done. So lots and lots and lots and lots of gray primer over the panel line tape that I didn't show you that I did. I sort of free-formed a bunch of panel line tape, which is chart tape, over this model to give it that feeling that that the Disney one has, and you know, like it's been built like an aircraft, so which is pretty cool. Most of it will be sand down, so it's just barely there. But also all this heavy coat of primer like this, and once I put the white on it, you will not see the glowing anymore. Now I'm going to show you how the tape works. I know this has been kind of a mystery to some of you because you have not seen me do it in a long time, and of course the videos are gone. So very carefully here, I'm going to pick off here some of this, and you'll see what happens. Like magic, you've got a panel line. It really is neat how this works, and I'm going to peel all this off like so, and then I'm going to lightly sand the entire hull, but you get the idea of what it takes to do this. And we'll do a little more down here, just on camera, so you can see how effective that is. It looks like the tape's still there, but it is not. This is actual panel lines. You can see what happens here, just like that. But before I damage this exterior anymore, we're going to, there goes another one. And there's a panel line. It really works good, and of course, Then I'm just gonna lightly sand it down with some sponges. And it just barely shows, but you can actually feel it, and there's actually a panel there, so. Like that. So got all the tape pulled off, and you can see how subtle the panel lines are. I mean, just barely there, a little sharper in some spots. There's going to be a lot more primer going on this white next, but they are there. They are subtle, and that's exactly the effect I was looking for. I didn't want them to be overdone necessarily, but just kind of there. And then you see I missed the tape there. You see the difference? Okay, you can see how the panel lines show up now. This is just white primer on top of this, and of course this all has to be sanded down again. But you can see I've got this nice subtle panel line effect. That's really nice, and it adds a lot to it. Don't look at the tip, because I broke it again. But this is looking really, really good. So what's going to be nice to see now is this lit up and not all the light leaking through and glowing. It's not supposed to be a pumpkin, it's supposed to be a rocket. And so here we are, all back on her base, all one color for now. Of course, this is just a primer white. And yesterday I couldn't even touch this. It was so sticky still. There's so much paint on this. This has to dry for a good day or so. And then we'll lightly sand it to get it pretty smooth. And then we're going to paint it with gloss white. Of course, I do have to attach this. This is not attached permanently yet, but it's going to be. And once that is done and blended in, there'll be a little panel line right there rather than try to blend that in. I don't think that that's really something I need to do, because since I've got all these lovely panel lines showing now. So this is looking much more to my liking now, and of course she doesn't glow anymore, and I'll show you that. So I'll start by turning it on, and as you can see we're pulling 12 volts and less than a half an amp. That's really cool. You'll also notice that the base lights are in. It's been covered before, but these are exactly what Disney had when this full-size 76-foot rocket was on display, and I even have the lovely photo etch grills to go over it, which replicate the ones at Disney. Now you notice that I no longer have a glowing candlestick, and I did this again. There's been some controversy about this, but I used gray primer. All primer has filler in it. Doesn't matter what color it is, it will white block something. Now the reason I didn't do it from the inside, some of you were telling me, gee, you need to do it from the inside. Well, the model was already together. The two halves have been put together already by Mike Dawkins when he sent it to me. If you watch the other videos, that would have been clear. So I could not get inside, but I've always known that any primer, doesn't matter what color it is, black doesn't make any difference, silver doesn't either, it will block the light, and you can clearly see that it has. There's no leaking at all anymore. So that's good. The portholes are courtesy of Daphne, who suggested, or actually asked, are you going to light up the portholes? And of course, you know me, I said, oh geez. You just had to say that, Daphne, didn't you? But they are lit up. I do have to make some window discs to go over them, so there's actually windows in there. The canopy is loosely fitting and sitting on top there, and of course it will be pressed down very hard and blended in shortly. But that, at this point, we have no more light leaks. All the lighting is in. Our cockpit's in place. I don't have the vanes down here for directing the thrust. They have been painted and will go in shortly, but I still need to sand this entirely down so it's smooth, and then we're going to put the gloss white on, and of course the markings. So I will stand back over here pretty far, and you can see the entire model. It just comes out so neat. I just love this. I just love this model to bits. As I've said and gushed before, this is what really launched my career. Get it? So that's as far as we're going to get on the big girl on this show. So, and when we do more on it next week, you're going to get to see the paint job go on and all the final finishing stuff. So cool. I love it. And over here, where of course we're going to start working on the Enterprise, and I'm kind of doing double duty, shooting video for both our show and for the Museum of ScienceFiction.org. Actually, it's Museum of ScienceFiction.org, not the, but you can see the link down below. So, but I got to sand the edges of this even with the cut line, and we're going to primer this. We're going to start cutting windows. One of the remarkable things about this material, the 1630 two-part BJB urethane, is how easily it sands. It's just astounding. It's just, you know, those pesky lips, flash, what you're going to call it, is gone in just a matter of seconds. Whereas epoxy is a lot harder to sand. Of course, it's a lot weaker material, but it doesn't capture bubbles like epoxy, and so you get a much better surface. But once the reinforcement is in there, the fiberglass, it's quite strong. But like, I think you can see that lip there. I'll show you really quick here how fast I can get rid of that. It's gone, just about, a little bit more. As long as I sand to that line, you can see the flash come off. I know that I'm actually level because this was cast on a level surface. So, and make a nice clean edge all the way around. Like so. I think we're just about there. Well, here's a good example of that. Take care of that. What I need to do is get a table and put sandpaper on it and make a real flat sanding table. But this is trustworthy because that line I know is accurate. I can see more of it there. And pretty short notice, you're ready to start cutting out windows. I'm just about there. We'll do a little bit more here. And when the flash curving up like that just drops off, you know you're right to the edge. There's some more here I can feel. So we'll just get rid of it. There it goes. See, it just flakes right off. A little bit here. Gone. I got some more here. A long way around this saucer section. This is not a, there you can really see a perfect example of what I'm talking about there. See, there's a little tiny bit of lip there, but not much. Once I close the saucer up, then I sand all this again and make everything just right. We're focusing on the lower saucer section right now. There's more flash right there. And then you can see it come off again. You still need to lose more there. And there it goes. Pretty neat. I think I've gone all the way around. We got a nice clean edge. It should lay nice and flat, which it does. All the way around. So I know, got no rocking or anything. I know I'm good. What we're going to do next is lightly sand all this and put some primer on it. So I've lightly sanded it and got rid of any little burrs or surface blemishes that are there. And you can see all the detail. You can see the rings and lines that are supposed to be in there, like these. And I say supposed to because we all know that the TOS 1350 model had grid lines on it, which the actual model never had. No matter who you say you are, it never had them. I have a good authority. It did, however, 2 years later, or 2 seasons later, or the second season, have pencil grid lines put in, just lightly penciled in. But the actual model itself had no scored panel lines in it like those grid lines. It did, however, have these concentric wings, of course, the landing gear locations for where at one time they thought that they would have this saucer section detached and land. And then we got to it. But the markings were there. There's a little blemish there. There aren't many. This is very, very clean. You can see You can see the windows here very clearly now that it's been sanded and dust is in there. So what I'm going to do next is primer it, and that'll further help us see what we're doing. Okay. Hopefully I'm not blocking frame. I might be, but I'm gonna get this window right here. Okay, I got my magnifiers on. Actually, I'm going to do this one here. Very easy to drill through. And kind of connect across, like so. I got a pretty good hole there. I'm going to see if I can't get closer on this so you can see it better if I'm blocking the camera. It's a little better. Turn it a little bit more to the side. And then, because I got visors on for close-up. And I'm going to take some files here and go in there. I'm pretty sure I'm not blocking now. And this is how all those windows on the Enterprise, and even the ones that Papa, Simon Merckx, is doing on that big refit, Dennis DeBoer, wonderful Dennis DeBoer, who does such nice work. I especially like his concept sea view that he did. It's just amazing. I will get one of those. Anyway, that's what you have to do with these kits, and because the windows are not punched out for you, so you got to get in here. I'm going to show you how I do a window, at least one. Thankfully, this is not the refit, which has considerably more windows. This stuff, compared to working in the epoxy when I built the first Enterprise, is a dream. Right there. And we've got a really, really nice window. And that's a really nice window. It works so much better with the 1630 over the epoxy resin. So we've got some, we have some very precise windows. Right up to the edge of what I had originally scored, so I'm very, very happy with them. Just kind of sharpen them off just a little bit more. Now, again, this is not the refit, so it doesn't have quite the windows count that the refit and the Enterprise D have, but there's still a lot of work to do to get this model to a point where we can light it. And the thing is, too, to keep in mind, is that I have to go around and tape all these windows up, and then tape on the outside and put dental acrylic or another material, resin, that's transparent from the back, so we actually get the windows. And then after that's done, of course, we have to mask off every window and paint the hull color on. So there's a lot of steps. But that's why we like this hobby so much, or craft, or art form, whichever you choose to call it. This one's just not quite long enough. You can see I haven't gone all the way there. That's better. Sharpen it up. Sharpen up the edge. There we go. Now originally, of course, on the Masters, I scribed in these details with a scribing tool to get those, but this came out really, really nice. So very even. The thickness is good. It's not really, really thick there, which is really nice, so it's going to be easy to do the window detail. Really nice. And here we are with all the bottom of the hull saucer section windows cut out.
It really, really came out very, very well, very even better than the first one that I did. And it looks great. So these are very, very precise, very sharp. And again, the thing I really like about them is how they are. The hull is a pretty even thickness right here. So the fiberglass one was actually thicker. So these are really going to have the impression of windows. And Ken Palco was talking to me, and he said, you know, wouldn't it be neat if I 3D print a room? So if you were to look through these windows, you could actually see a lighted up room in there. And we may do that. And of course, you know, Jeff has decided that it would be really cool to have the hangar bay doors open up on this, which he will 3D print, and which is something he wants to do, so they actually on a mechanism open and close. One of the things that the museum is talking about doing is having some of the models be interactive, so they would actually have a phone app that you would install on your phone, and you could remotely control dimming and brightening of the lights and opening, closing doors and things like that on the model, which would be really cool. But either way, we're going to have all this stuff in there, and we will have different switches and controls to operate different parts of the model. This is as far as we're going to get on this for this show, but next week you're going to see a whole bunch more. Well, geez, they sound like Doctor Who. Yeah, well, we had a great, the reason I stumbled was like 3 weeks in there or so, right, Mary? It's been something like...
Holidays, Festivus.
Yeah, Festivus! But I think you'll agree that it was a very interesting show. We had a great time doing it and doing all the different things from Martians to TWAs to, oh yes, the Enterprise. And you're going to see a lot more of that next week as I forge ahead and move through getting the whole parts together while Ken works on the armature. As soon as that comes, we'll be able to get that together. You'll see behind me here, I'm doing some editing on Martians Attacks SNG. We have a film shoot tomorrow, this Friday, which is the 9th, I believe, yes. And of course, Carl Soto and Model Man Tom are both going to be here, who are helping to direct and shoot shots that Mary and I are in. But starting tomorrow, we are going to have Tom, who is going to show up here at the studio to visit me, and he's actually going to be in the film as an actor as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. And those are the scenes we're shooting. So we'll be shooting a little bit of that, selfies that you'll see pretty soon. And then next week we will be back with another full-length show, whatever length that comes out to, on the Enterprise being worked on, the TWA, and a whole bunch more. We'll see you then.